wants more sales on merch? Who has enough sales? Okay, good. So we're all learning, and you know what? I'm learning too. But I think I'm going to share some things with you today. Some things I've figured out, and I wouldn't call them secrets. I wouldn't even call them really nuggets. But there's some things that are fundamental that I've found in doing a lot of coaching with people, with a lot of talks I've had with people, a lot of things I've seen on people's accounts, and a lot of problems I've seen on accounts, and a lot of structural things I think you can fix on your Merch by Amazon account. So anyway, who am I? I come from a little town in southern Alberta called Hanna. All of you haters of Nickelback, they're personal friends of mine, so lay off. No, I grew up with them in a little town of 2,500 out in the middle of the prairies of Alberta. In Alberta, I spent my first real business career was in the haz waste industry in the oil field of Alberta. So I spent 12, 13 years managing in the oil field. Basically a haz waste expert. Nothing to do with graphic design, nothing to do with merch. 2004, I was given the opportunity to change careers and buy a sign company. The sign company happened to be in Las Vegas, so that's how I ended up in Las Vegas. I've been there since 2004. Getting into a sign company, I had no idea what anything had to do, but I did have some proficiency on the computer with Photoshop, playing around with websites, building my own computer. I was a bit of a nerd that way. But I already had the sales ability. I could already go onto the street and knock on a door. I could go into a sales meeting. I could meet with a VP for Shell. I could meet with the president with Exxon. It didn't scare me. So going into a pizza shop, going into a salon, going down the street and trying to drum up sales for a sign business wasn't a big deal. The other thing that I took on partway through was something that is called decorative window tint. And what you do on the windows for businesses is I can recreate almost all the way up to stained glass using window tints. And that started to open up some of my creativity, and you start to see how that evolves, and you learn myself how I became good with graphics, vectors, rasters, all these fun things that build a foundation for something like merch. T-shirts, this is an interesting one. Had nothing to do with t-shirts until probably 4 or 5 years ago. And at nighttime, I found some of the places like Teespring. I said, this is kind of neat. I already do t-shirts for my customers. I have sales accounts set up for wholesale apparel. I have screen printers set up. I was doing all of these subcontracting type things for my customers. And so I thought, hey, why don't I try throwing some original designs up on something like Teespring? Maybe make a couple of dollars. I did all right. You know, I was making maybe a couple of $1,000s a month on something like Teespring, starting to play with some Facebook ads, and along came merch, and I signed up for merch the very day that it opened. So I was right in at the beginning. I'm not going to go into that story too much because I like to get into what's boosting sales, but I almost walked away from merch. Because has anybody uploaded a design to merch and had it rejected because the size is wrong? Okay, we got a couple of people here. My designs were 1 pixel off. And if you know what it is about with Merch by Amazon, if you upload an image for your t-shirt and it is 1 pixel off, it'll say you've got an error. And I sat for about 2 months and said, this is the craziest program. These guys are idiots. I sent them emails saying they were idiots. Your program is awful. I had a nice guy from Merch email me back and say, please check to see that your pixels are exact. So I tried it, and lo and behold, a shirt went up. I walked away from it till about December. I got a bank deposit from Amazon for about $12 in December. I said, what is this deposit? I found out it was merch. I'd sold a shirt. So I put a couple more up, and the next thing you know, next month I get a check for $25 or $35. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, put some more up. The next month it was $100. Then it was $300, then it was $1,000. And by March or April, it was $3,000, $4,000, and the rest is history. I've been converted to the merch program ever since. It's been a wild ride, it really has. And that ride has now encompassed my entire family. It's right down to my 14-year-old. He has a merch account. My 17-year-old has one. My 19-year-old has one. My wife has one, who was actually my VA who now no longer wants to VA for me because she's got her own account. But that's my ecosphere as far as merch by Amazon. So I have a design background, a graphics design background. It made it a little easier on the transition than, say, somebody here that might sign up for merch by Amazon and doesn't even know what a t-shirt is, a t-shirt design. So this was neat. Anybody see this story last week from Las Vegas? We're going to try and play it. Merch has taken over our life, and a local TV station here in Las Vegas actually interviewed our family. And I thought I'd show this 2-minute clip, and then let's get into how to make some sales.
Opening up your own business can sound nearly impossible, but with the help of technology and Amazon, a local family of 5 is now cashing in by coming up with, get this, t-shirt design.
Yeah, and it turns out this is a program that almost anyone can get in on. And 13 Action News anchor Leslie Marine now introduces us to the Reil family.
This is Design Central, I guess you could say.
Like in any home, members of the Reil family are always on the computer.
I'm just making my first line.
But this is work, and right now it's the youngest of the Reils, 14-year-old Jake, on the job.
And then it's done.
He's just finished designing this logo for a t-shirt that will eventually sell on Amazon.
It's actually kind of mind-blowing.
Each member of the Reil family owns their own business through Merch by Amazon, and they are cashing in by the easy concept of uploading a t-shirt design, setting a price, allowing Amazon to sell it, and taking a cut of the profit.
I probably made around $5,000.
In total, the family says they've made nearly $250,000 through merch.
It started to replace a real income.
Father Ken Reil even leaving his graphic design job and now working from home.
If you can think it, you can do it.
It has brought our family closer, something that we work on together.
Right now, their highest selling shirt can bring in anywhere from $15 to $20 a day. Mother Janelyn taking the opportunity to teach her kids a bigger lesson on finances.
It's just a great life lesson for them to learn that so young and to be able to see they can have their own business.
So what are they doing with the money?
We're making our own money. We're putting it in our savings.
I was able to pay off the car accident from merch.
But 14-year-old Jake is saving for something he really wants.
A booster board.
Leslie Marine, 13 Action News.
Wow, you want to start a business with me?
How about
I have an
that,
idea.
All right. I thought that'd be a little bit fun. It was fun for the family, a little nerve-wracking for some. There's some neat stories behind that, like the accident. That was my 17-year-old son, and he was the first one to get into merch. He says, Dad, one day he came up to me, he says, Dad, can I put up some t-shirt designs on your account? I said, yeah, sure, but I'm not doing them for you. So he found his own niche. He did his own designs. I sat there with Photoshop with him, and he learned how to do some stuff. And he posted it. He sold the shirt within 20 minutes. I said, wow, this is cool. There's no way you should have sold that niche. That niche now, I'm not going to say what it is because it's been copied. You will find it in Target and Walmart. And he's the first one that I've seen who put that on a shirt. He's probably made about $10,000 as a 17-year-old. 4 of that went to pay for a car that he wrecked of mine. So, so it's a family thing. And it's something that don't get stressed out about this. Some of the things I'm going to teach you are fundamental principles, I think, that are within merch, that even a 14-year-old, if they do it right, can make money. Don't get stressed out about some areas that you think merch isn't working, or my account's not working, or my designs aren't working. I want to bring you back to the basics. And then I'll try and look at a few nuggets, I guess you could say, that I use and that I do share with people. Some things that have been very successful for me in selling shirts. Do I just click this? Thank you. All right. So tell me about you. How many people have a merch account? How many people don't? How many people are on their laptop right now going to merch.amazon.com and signing up for an account? Okay, go do that. I want everybody to sign up for an account. The best thing for this program, for it to grow, is going to be everybody signing up for it, and more designs going up, more content going up. You're going to get more print capacity. You're going to see a bigger program. You'll see more products that'll be shared. So go sign up if you don't have an account. How many people have used that account that they have? So the ones that haven't used their account, why not? Anybody here hasn't used their account? Hands, come on. So everybody's used it. You haven't used yours. Why not?
I have no background.
How long you had it?
I just had it approved last month.
Okay, well you've got what do you got now? 90 days before they cancel your account on you. Is that what it is, 120 days? 120, so after 120, you could get terminated if you don't put a design up. So go get one shirt up, I don't care what it is. You could say love mom, but get a shirt up. Because merch is the greatest opportunity to earn money with some work passively that I think you'll ever find. There is no inventory, there is no capital, there is no brick and mortar, there is no shirts you need to print. You just need to do some work and you're going to earn some money. So now I get an idea. Most people here have an account. Most people have used an account. Gives me some idea what I'm dealing with. So the first thing I look at when I'm going to walk you through a bit of a coaching call that I do with somebody. The first question that I look at is their actual account. They come to me and they say, I'm such and such a tier. Why am I not selling shirts? And the first thing I look at and I ask is, what tier are you? Everybody here knows what a tier is. Who here is tier 10? Okay, we got a couple of tier 10s. Tier 25. Tier 100. Okay, what's next? Tier 500. Okay, tier 1,000. Who's 2,000? And who's over 2,000? Okay. So we've got about a 50-50 split of where I draw a borderline of where fundamentals change on a merch account. And I think the fundamentals change around the 500 to 1,000 tier. And when we're talking tier, that's the number of slots you have on an account. When you're below 500 or 1,000 tier, I think there's fundamentally different things that you work on to build your account than you would if you're up in the 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, even as high as 100,000 that I've heard. So tier levels. Tier levels are going to have a big variance on what you do with your account and what you can do to sell. Upload limits. What's the upload limit like right now for, say, tier 500? Anybody? It's 50? Okay. And 1,000, I think, is what, 100? Okay. Once you get up to the bigger tiers, I think 500 is the limit. 500 a day is what you're looking at. You can see some variance now when I'm talking to an account as to what they can and can't do with their upload limits. However, don't try and max out your upload limits every day. I'm being serious. Don't get in a race to tier up, okay? This is the single biggest problem I've seen with merch accounts trying to figure out sales and get better sales on their accounts, is they're racing to try and catch up to the person next to them. And in the Facebook communities, what you see is everybody posting their numbers, people posting their tiers, people bragging about how many they can upload. I haven't uploaded a shirt in 8 weeks. It's not hurting me. That's not to say I haven't changed some things on my account, but I'm not so focused like some people, oh no, how do I fill 50 slots a day? And the answer I give them back is you don't. Because there's some fundamentals you need to work on with those slots to not wreck your account. Meaning wreck it in a sense that you're not going to get sales. And I see this over and over and over again. I want to take a look at, are you a designer or an artist? Okay? Do you use your merch account because you're a designer or artist? Anybody here a designer or an artist? Somebody that illustrates? In the back? Okay, we see a few here. Your whole purpose is to put your art up there, isn't it? Is creating a brand. And you're able to draw your own stuff, right? That's the way I put it. Others are outsourcing. How many here get their designs from a VA? Quite a few, okay? A great way to do it. You can get great designers. We just heard Kevin talk about how you get VAs. And VAs can be very effective in getting designs. However, information into a VA is no good if the information is bad to begin with. You're going to get bad designs. And I'm going to take a look at that here in a second. Another one, of course, is business promo. How many use their merch account just for their business or for marketing or advertising? We've got a couple, yeah. Is it effective? Yes, it is. Yeah, very good, is it? It's nice to have that outlet just to push the shirts for your bar or your hair salon or Maybe even it's something to do with reselling on Amazon. Whatever your company is, merch is a great means in which to print a single shirt. This is groundbreaking when you talk about the apparel industry. Go to a screen printer and ask them to print you one shirt. It's not going to happen, or it's going to be very costly to get them to do it. Merch by Amazon brings that ability that you can do one shirt at a time, and testing doesn't cost you anything because you don't need an inventory of shirts. So let's take a look at design focus. The next thing I go through with an account when we're trying to figure out how to get better sales is breaking down their account to these areas. And these are the areas that I consider how you do your designs, what kind of a design it is on a t-shirt. And this is very important. This is the breakdown between your tier 1000 and above and your tier 1000 and below. Who knows what evergreen is? Okay, evergreen is a shirt that's going to sell all year long. You can leave it, set it, and forget it, and you're going to get sales because somebody's going to come along and like that shirt. It has nothing to do with a holiday, has nothing to do with a trend or a company. It might just be a funny saying, and it will sell and sell and sell. And some of these shirts that you've seen that are popular may have been selling for up to a decade or more because it's a funny phrase, it's a funny layout. They are a great core for t-shirt sales within Merch by Amazon. However, evergreen, if you're tier 50 or tier 100, my advice is do not play around with evergreen. Okay? The next one is called trend. Who knows what a trend is? What's a trend? What's that? Oh, come on, not a trademarked one. Okay, how about solar eclipse? Anybody get in on the solar eclipse? A couple of people did. That trend went crazy and nobody expected that it would. That is a trend. Nasty woman, somebody makes a stupid comment or a good comment politically, those are trends. These are what I call the Powerball of merch. You're tossing lines into the water and you're hoping that a fish is going to grab and drag you into the lake, because that's what can happen. A trending shirt has turned people into millionaires off of single shirts. That's no word of a lie. But it's not something you bank your entire business on because you don't know when you're going to get the sales. Holidays, that's pretty easy. Holiday shirts themed around Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. And actually, we have holidays all the way through the year. National Chocolate Day, National Pizza Day, National Watch Day, National Teacher Day. Those are holidays. Now, I'm going to take those three. People under tier 1000, probably people under tier 500, should be focusing on trend and holiday. And why would that be? There's a reason I tell them to do that, because what they're trying to do right now is get sales and build their account, because they want to get some extra, they want to get the tier and they want to get the slots to be able to use on Merch by Amazon. Merch by Amazon does become a numbers game. The more numbers that you have listed, the more sales you do get. Now there's a caveat to that. Lots of quantity of shirts that are bad are still not going to sell. But you need to be able to have the slots to be able to sell and play in that numbers game. You're going to be slogging along if you think you're going to put up evergreen shirts and go through the tiers quickly. Evergreen shirts sell very slowly. That's the numbers game. So if you're tier 500 or 1,000, my best advice to give you is focus on trends and holidays. Shirts that you can put up and take down. If you have 50 slots, put up 50 shirts for Mother's Day and see what sells. Take them down, put up Father's Day. Take them down, oh, somebody said something stupid in the news. Let's put them up tonight before anybody else does and see if they sell. If they don't sell 2 days later, take them down and try another trend. Because what you're trying to do with Merch by Amazon is the number of sales you get will move you through the tiers. I know it's a little different right now in the bottom tiers. They seem to be tearing up at will. But the moment you start hitting 100 or 500 tier, you're going to need the sales to move up to the next tier. The next one's, of course, anybody heard about the thing going around now, local merch? There's a couple of hands. Local merch is kind of a neat thing. We have a dynamic guy in the community now called $1 Million Mike. And there's a reason they're calling him $1 Million Mike, because he's made $1 million on merch. And anybody want to gander how many designs he might have up? Back there, how many?
Around 150.
150 designs. How'd you like to make $1 million off 150 designs? He is not a designer. He does not put up shirts with trends, holidays, or evergreen. He goes and works with local businesses and does not sell them shirts, but sells them advertising. And the way, I'm not going to go into that in detail, because this is starting to get to upper tier stuff, and we could do a whole section on this. He'll walk into a pizza store and say, hey, let's make a brochure or a postcard, and on the postcard it has a QR code. And it says, buy this t-shirt, wear it into our store next time, and get a free pizza with the pizza that you buy. So the person buys the shirt on Amazon, wears it into the store, and gets a discount or a free pizza the next time he comes in. Then the 3 friends sit next to him say, why did you get a free pizza? He says, I'm wearing a t-shirt for Bob's Pizza Joint. So 2 more friends buy the pizza, and the next time they come in, they get the same discount. What happens, though, is on every sale, they track it through a private listing. And he splits the royalty with the company. So he might only take $1 or $2 of the royalty and give the rest of the royalty back to the pizza guy. Do you see how this works? See how interesting that is? And now you build a door-to-door type of a business knocking on doors. It's a bit of a sales huff. It's not as easy as just putting shirts up on Amazon, but you can really build an empire. You can really build something special. And Mike has shown that, and I've done some of it myself, and it's really dynamic. Because then they're starting to do things like Mother's Day. You ever seen a pizza store that does a Valentine special? Well, now tie it into a t-shirt. There's some sales to go, a sales call to work with the person, but you can really drive some sales with local merch. So don't just think that designers and artists and outsourcing is everything that merch is. Merch is simply the facility that allows us to print the t-shirts. It is the mechanism that allows us to get that. And the last one, this was a big one last week. Anybody go to the licensing show in Vegas last week? Anybody know about the licensing show? Vegas has the largest licensing show, I think, on the planet. There's about 5,000 brands that come to Vegas at the Mandalay Bay, and they pay to sit in a booth and have you come to them and try and license their stuff. And licensing is another one that is very effective with Merch by Amazon. I'm into licensing. Probably 10 to 15% of my listings are actually licensed, where you're paying somebody else for their brand or their art. I will list it, I will do the work, and I'll cut you a royalty check. It's actually, when you do the forefront work, it's pretty easy money. It's pretty nice money. And the other thing with licensing is you now have other brands or artists driving their traffic to your links. So there's another dynamic. So in design focus, I think you need to look at your account for what things you're going to do with your account, whether or not you're a higher tier or a lower tier. So if somebody is sitting here with a lower tier at 500 or lower, and you've got a whole bunch of evergreen, my advice would be seriously take a look at what your game plan is and what your business plan is for merch. And I do say business plan because you should be setting up a business plan with it if that's going to be a business. If this is not just a side thing or a side hobby, and there's a lot of people that have turned it into a full-time business. As you saw in the news article, in 2 years since merch got going, I really didn't get going until about March of 2016, really pushing it hard. So from March 2016 on, our family has sold about 50,000 shirts. Most of them have been me, and it's over $250,000. And that is not having a brick and mortar store. I'm basically paying my taxes on that. That's a royalty payment, as you know, if you're in merch. This is life-changing money for people. You don't have a warehouse. I have no VAs. It's me, it's my family, and it's a pretty good life. And you can get there. Merch, as I see it right now, is an infant. I mean, we just made that letter. He was talking this morning in the first presentation, Jeff Bezos' letter. Merch this year just made it. And it's just a little snippet about Merch by Amazon, and it goes. But you know what? They're really excited that they've made that letter, which means that this product is legit, it's on the letter, and it's gonna go forward. It's gonna get big. I was able to tour the facility in Dallas in March with my family. We were invited out to that. I've been called a yes man about merch because I love merch. And I walked out of there and looked at my wife, and she said, boy, this is really gonna be big. And I said, this is bigger than I even thought it would be. I walked out of there just absolutely amazed at what's gonna go on. So you sitting here right now have the opportunity to build a foundation on your account and build it strong and be able to ride the train that's coming, because it's gonna get big, it's gonna be international, it's gonna be across the states, it's gonna be multiple products. It's not just t-shirts. It will be cell phones, it will be pop sockets, it will be tank tops, it will be onesies, it will be all these things. It'll probably be canvas prints. These things will come. Coffee mugs. Everybody wants coffee mugs, phone cases, but Amazon will build it by breaking things. They'll make their mistakes, they'll fix it good, and we just need to fuel the engine, per se. So, a successful listing. Neil covered a few things this morning about what makes successful keywords. And now I would go over a few of the things that I go through in a coaching call. And I'm kind of approaching this presentation like a coaching call. The first thing I look at, the first question I ask a person is, what tier are you? So they'll tell me tier 1000. And then I say, how many listings have you got up? And they'll say, I've got 800 up. I say, good. How many niches are you in? How many people do you think give me the right answer? How many people even know how many niches they're in right now? Neil does. How many, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand what I'm saying about niches? So most of the people that may have 800 shirts up tell me, well, I'm probably in 50 or 60 or 70. I say, okay, well, that's kind of thin. How many shirts are in your best niche? Oh, I don't know. Let me think. You see a breakdown right now? And this is 9 to 10 people. They don't even know how many shirts or listings they have within their most popular niche. And number two, they've got far too many niches. When I go into a niche, when I talk about research with them, I can tell you right now my most popular niche, and it has about 250 listings. Unique designs. That is not scaled out different colors. That is not scaled out to hoodies and sweatshirts. That is 250 unique designs to that niche. And I watch it like a hawk. And the reason that I approach it that way is I spend about 80% of my time doing research. I love searching t-shirts, phrases, things that are funny. My son does too. He has what we call a Walmart run. Anybody been to Walmart and seen the t-shirt board? Walmart has a big board usually that has all their t-shirt designs. You ever see a t-shirt that has more than one color for a design on Walmart's wall? I never have. You know what's neat about Walmart is they have probably spent a year to get that t-shirt design up on the wall in testing, in trending, in colors, in size, and then millions of dollars to procure the screen printing of the inventory to put it on their wall. They know before that t-shirt even goes on the wall that it'll be a seller because it's crossed all of the bounds and the boundaries. You go to Target, Kohl's, Old Navy, you see the same thing. That t-shirt did not hit their racks without them knowing it's going to sell. Okay? So why would it be any different with merch? Why would you go and say, I want to make a hunting t-shirt and just go make the design and throw it up? You have no idea of the colors. You have no idea of the phrases. You have no idea of who would actually buy the shirt. You don't even have any idea of what's actually selling, other than you may have walked onto a Facebook group and somebody said, hey, hunting's a really cool niche. And that is a real problem that I'm seeing. And if you want to boost sales, you need to probably be spending about 70 or 80% of your time on research. And I know even some of the bigger outsourcers. Neil, how much time do you spend researching what you're going to send to your VAs? 95% of your time. You're not doing designing, I am. But Neil's another one in the room here that is a bigger account with a lot of listings that does very well. But he spends a lot of time drilling down exactly what the research is on a certain trend or a niche. And this is very important. The next thing I do is I go and look at their listings when I'm doing a call, and I see just total disarray. I've seen niches that they say I've got 100 shirts up and have only had 10 designs. And they have every color of t-shirt and every color of font and every color of sweatshirt, hoodie. They think that they've scaled out and given the customer 100 designs. They've only given them 10, and most times the 10 designs are really bad. So research is key. I can't drill that down enough. Look at everything. Go to Wikipedia. Go into the Facebook groups. If you're thinking of something that's really popular, a hobby, let's say it's fly fishing. Are you in 5 of the most popular fly fishing groups and in the discussion learning what's funny, what the memes are, what the discussion is? Do you know how a fly fisher would talk, right? Have you searched out the websites that are the most popular hits for fly fishing? Have you looked on the sites that are selling apparel, like Orvis? Do you see what types of trends and colors that they're selling? So research is 70 to 80% of my time. The next is design quality. Who here will admit that they've put up some pretty bad shirts? I will too. And I see the conversation that's when we talk about quality. Yeah, but I saw this shirt on merch that was really selling good and it's awful. Anybody seen Funkel? Anybody thought that was an awful design? I think it's one of the best, most brilliant designs out there. You know why? Not that it sells. What does it look like? The original Funkel t-shirt, you know what I'm talking about? It looks like a dictionary explanation. It looks like a dictionary. It's genius. But I've seen people say that that is a bad design that sells good. And I actually look at it and says it's a brilliant design that sells good. Because there was a lot of thought put into it with the funny mannerisms on how they make the definition. But then you also see bad designs. And occasionally you see a bad design sell good. I think a lot of times that's just because they were in first. I keep saying the nasty woman thing because that one sold great. I don't think that was a great design. The original one, I really don't. But somebody does, and a lot of people do. But overall, what I have seen is design quality will win out. And I think what you're going to see in merch is design quality is going to win. There was a question asked last week. We had a question and answer session with some of the managers from merch. And one of the questions that was asked was, what's the one thing you would tell us as designers that we should do? Anybody there that remembers the answer? Nicole, you've got to know. Better quality designs. That was the first thing out of the director's mouth. Better quality designs. So once you've got your research, what you need to be working on, whether you're a designer or a VA, is the quality of your design. And if you don't know what quality of design is, go ask somebody that is a designer and say in a private message, hey, do you mind looking at a few of these and telling me what you think? And be brutally honest. Tell me if they're bad. Tell me what to fix. Tell me if the kerning is bad. Tell me if the fonts are bad. Tell me if the colors are bad. You need to get to that level where you understand what a good design is. Key wording. Neil talked about this. I'm not going to go into the key wording. Key wording will make or break you on merch. A good design with good keywords will outsell an excellent design with bad keywords because the good design won't be seen. But a good design with good keywords will also beat out a bad design with excellent keywords because you're now looking at it the way I view it as a sign guy. I drive down the street looking at signs and I can tell what's a good sign and a bad sign. What catches my attention? The same thing holds true on the search results of Amazon. How fast do you scroll through the results that are on the front page of a search result? Really, as a buyer? 2-3 seconds? If you're looking for something on Amazon that you put a search in, you scroll, and what catches you to buy it? The keywords got you there, but the image gets you to click. With Merch by Amazon, you can almost forget about the mock-up that you see on the sales page. Nobody sees that. The only people that see it are the ones that are almost ready to buy the t-shirt. That's a reality.
About 5 minutes, Ken.
Okay. So keywording is important. Traffic is another one. Traffic, do you drive your own traffic? Yes or no? That can certainly tie into a successful listing. If you have your own audience, you can definitely grab sales off of the traffic. That's a no-brainer. Branding is another one, and I think Neil touched a bit this morning about branding, the importance of having something that looks like an actual brand versus something that is not a brand. Now, I guess I knew this was going to be a tough one. I could probably go for another hour, and maybe we'll have a breakout session later. Creative methods on how to boost your sales. Bigger, bolder, better. And what I mean by that is go, and I know some people are going to argue this with me, but go the biggest, the boldest is better on the design of the shirt. I will typically fill up that whole design space because you have, when I look at it, you have a 1-inch by 1-inch thumbnail on the page of search results to stand out. That's your chance to get a sale. And I do believe everybody with a shirt design with the proper keywords gets that front page view at least once. So how important it is for you to be, when you get that view on the front page, for the person to notice your shirt and click on it. And I actually have a friend of mine that I'll give him a link of search results that I know I have 2 or 3 of my shirts on, and I'll have him scroll like a buyer. And after he scrolled for 2 or 3 seconds, I'll say, okay, which ones did you like the best? The 2 or 3 best shirts. And if my shirts are not one of those, I need to go back to the drawing board because I missed the ability to grab them off of that search page. That's the real battle of merch, is how do you get them to get your shirt off of that page? So if you are one of the 3,000 Funkel shirts, your Funkel shirt needs to look different and look better, okay? Facebook groups. Facebook groups is not about going into a Facebook group, posting your shirt and say, buy my shirt. It is about going in a 2 or 3 month process, joining a group of your interest, learning their interests, getting to know them, working with administrators and saying, hey, can I post 4 designs and ask your community which one would sell best or they like the best? And then when you get that answer, you come back and say, hey, Mr. Administrator, can I give you 10 free shirts to give out in your group? Just post the link for it, but I'll give you 10 free shirts. Be amazed how many shirts you can sell when you give an administrator free stuff because he looks good and now you're selling your shirts. How much, have we got a minute or am I done?
I'd say if you want to do questions, you got about 4 minutes for it, and then they're going to open that wall up.
Okay,
so.
okay. Boosting a listing. I want to talk just a little bit about boosting a listing. Boosting a listing is the principle of not using something like an AMS ad or a Facebook ad, but actually getting a group of your friends and family across America to search for your shirt and find it and go buy it. And as they do that over the course of about a week, I'll spend $100 on a t-shirt and have, say, 7 or 8 people buy it, 1 person a day over the course of a week. 1 sale in a day will keep your shirt at 100,000 BSR. Perfectly legit. Merch likes to sell shirts. You do that for a week and you have a good design that's been researched, that stands out with contrast, it will continue to sell because you're on the front page. I would rather spend $100 with my friends buying my shirts than put $100 into AMS, into marketing services, and hope to get clicks and hope to get sales. That one I can probably expand upon a little bit more, and maybe we'll do a webinar about it. There's so much here. There is so much to look at. You've got to build the foundation of your account or you're going to mess your account up and you're not going to have the sales. We're probably about done. I'm not sure if there's the odd question or not. But,
Yeah, we've got 1 minute if anyone has a question.
Any questions? Chris?
1 second.
Ken, would you be willing to do a live webinar in the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference Facebook group about merch?
Definitely, definitely. Be a fun time. And we'll go into some of these other things and expand on them. If there's one thing, anybody that knows me, I'll talk about merch all day long. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely. We'd go into Rocky Mountain and do a live webinar if they would like to do that. Anything else? Yes.
If you can share your process of distinguishing a good quality design versus a bad quality design, like the 5 steps you look for in a design that you know it might be a hit, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, 12 years of being in the sign industry and learning what a good or a bad design is. It's really subjective. It really is. And that's why I say if you don't know what a good design is, it's going to take you time to learn. Go find a designer that is good and ask him to look at your stuff. And he'll tell you very abruptly what is good and what isn't. So that one's a tough one. So anyway, I think that's about our time. And we'll turn it back to you. So.
All right, let's give Ken a round of applause.